Great to have you join us. In our first story, the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, says there is an urgent need for the Electoral Commission stakeholders, including political parties and civil society organizations, to meet and fashion out a way to address the ensuing controversy over the EC's proposed electoral reforms. CODEO said the move has become necessary following the rising tension between the EC and some opposition parties. There have been some brouhaha over the EC's decision to compile a new voter register as well as upgrade its election management system. Coordinator of CODEO, Albert Ahin, spoke earlier on the news, indicating the meeting must be convened within the next week.
Has operated for about a decade in this country. People from other countries have been coming to Ghana to learn about IPAC. So IPAC, as the eminent people have suggested, should be expanded according to what CODEO is saying, so we can sit down and look at all the arguments for and against. We are saying this because we are also aware of the fact that the EC's mandate should be supreme. The EC has a mandate, we know. But you see, the EC cannot operate in a vacuum. The EC works with political parties. The EC has stakeholders, and therefore there should always be that partnership. But that relationship should be symbiotic. Okay? Because without the political party, without the populists, there will be no EC. So what we are saying is that, yes, the EC has a mandate, but let us clear the ground. Let us make sure that we go into the registration without any problems. In my personal capacity, I think that with time, the register is dirty or has been made dirty. The register has been made dirty. This is not CODEO's view. This is my personal view. The register has been made dirty, and the contribution of making it dirty has been made by political parties and the citizenry. CODEO is saying there should be an attempt to resolve this impasse. If it doesn't get resolved, remember I told you from the onset that the EC has a mandate, and let us respect that mandate if it happens to be so. The court will bring on the table the issues that are being contested. People are saying that the money should have been used to do some other things for this country. Some are saying that it's not necessary. In fact, even CODEO is saying this 2-year cycle of always getting the register changed should be stopped. And my advisory board is saying that because every time we go to do a new register, the very that plagued the old one are not changed. We allow people to go and register when they are young. You see, so if the EC should be going to do a new one, then there should be put in place some measures to prevent the underage from registering, to prevent the foreigners from registering, and to make sure that there's a good process of cleaning it after that.
Now, on proposals for the use of the NIA's database for the new register by the EC, Mr. Ahin said, though a laudable idea, it can be feasible after the 2020 general elections.
The aim is to use the national ID to prepare the voters register, which is a very laudable idea. It's a very laudable idea. But from what I've been hearing from the EC, first of all, there's this problem of who mans the database, who controls it. The EC, for example, would want to control its database. Okay. Now, the national ID is going on, it has not been completed. But I don't think that we can wait for them to finish because there are a whole lot of issues with the national ID. I, for one, have not been registered because I didn't have opportunity, and many others.
But we've been given several assurances that if we're really going to be depending on that data, it could be ready before the election.
So I don't share in that view. I don't share in that view because in the first place, they don't even have the polling station codes in it.
Isn't that an issue that could easily be resolved if the two institutions get talking?
Well, it could be easily said that it can be done, but my dear, with the fact that they have not even completed what they are doing right now, and there are a lot of many people who have not been put on the roll. They will have to go around to maybe, try to get people on board again, maybe a day or 2 or 3 in every region Make sure everybody has done it. It will take time. Sincerely speaking, if we want to use the national ID, it should be in the next election and not this particular one.
Go straight to the Upper East region, where some members of the opposition NDC are picketing at the offices of the Electoral Commission. Our correspondent Albert Sorry is standing by. Good morning, Albert. Good afternoon, Albert. Now, tell us first of all, what's the situation there now? Which office of the
Hello?
EC are we talking about? Right, Albert, can you hear me?
Yes, Daniel, I can hear you, but
Great.
the line seems to be very faint.
Let's try and manage. Which office of the EC are we talking about, and describe the situation there?
Okay, so these people who are picketing at the premises of the Regional Electoral Commission are members of the Inter-Party Coalition Against the New Voters Register. And they are doing this in line with all the demonstrations that have already gone on in some parts of the country, trying to get the Electoral Commission to not to go ahead with the new voters register. They arrived here at the office of the Electoral Commission in Bolgatanga less than an hour ago, and they presented a petition basically enumerating the reasons for which they think that the new voters register should be dropped. As I speak to you, the regional secretary of the NDC, Donatus Akamugri, is addressing the media after presenting their petition to officials of the Electoral Commission. Now, some of them have also been wielding placards, all in protest to this new voters register. And basically, they are saying that what they need, in their opinion, is a new president and not a new voters register. They think that the money that will be used or the resources that will be used in compiling this new register should be invested in other areas or other sectors of the economy, basically.
Right. Now, Albert, yesterday, the national executives of the NDC mentioned that they would put all of these protests on hold as they await the decision of the eminent panel for the Electoral Commission. Has that issue come up today?
Exactly. A while ago, while we were talking to the secretary of the NDC, he indicated that they had already planned, actually, to go on with this protest today. And once the message came only yesterday, they decided that they would just go ahead with it. Now, one thing that has happened is that not so many people have turned out for this picketing or demonstration. And he explained that because of that announcement that was made yesterday, it prevented some people from coming. But they also needed to actually register their concern, as people in this part of the country, and for their voices to also be heard as far as this matter is concerned. So you have just basically less than 300 people who have massed up here today.
Albert, sorry.
Gathered here, I should say.
Albert, sorry, thank you very much for those updates. You're still live on JoyNews today. Let's move a bit further south, and the Ashanti Region Chairman of the New Patriotic Party wants pressure groups and political parties to allow the Electoral Commission enjoy its independence in the exercising of its constitutional mandate. This comes on the back of the inter-party resistance against the new voter registers demonstration staged in Kumasi on Tuesday. Bernard Intwibwe-Siako, popularly known as Chairman Wuntumi, referred to former President John Mahama's comment on the independence of the Commission 4 years ago as a guide to comments today. His speech opened a news conference organized by the Let My Vote Count Alliance on the new voter register. Nanaya Ojima joins us with details. Nanaya, who else has been speaking and what have they been saying?
All right, so convener for Let My Vote Count Alliance, that Mr. David Asante has also been speaking at this press conference, and according to him, it is very relevant that the new register is compiled, and this will ensure that every foreigner who illegally got his name onto the current register will be eliminated from the register, which they are pushing to be done once more. Remember, if you can remember, in 2015, the Let My Vote Count Alliance started made some effort to get a new register then in 2015, because according to them, the current register is not correct, and therefore it should be rewritten to ensure that we have a register which is due for 2016 election, and it didn't come off because the EC did not think it was relevant to get any register, even though they took it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court made the EC eliminate some of the names, clean some of the names from the register. They believe that that wasn't thoroughly done. So it should be rewritten and to ensure that we have a credible voter register here in Ghana. So they are in support of the EC's call for a new register to be done.
Right, Nanayao, thank you very much for those updates. Away from the voter register, the National Peace Council says it will in the coming weeks issue documents with collaboration of the political parties to supplement the Vigilantism and Other Related Offences Act. The documents, according to the council, will prescribe a roadmap and also provide some guidelines which will shape activities of political parties and their activities in order to stamp out vigilantism. The Peace Council has been holding a series of meetings with the parties, mainly the two leading parties, over modalities to address the vigilantism phenomenon. Representative of the council, George Amo, addressing a stakeholders forum on election 2020 in Accra, says the council will also revive the election response groups across the country to pick up early warning signs and deal with them.
And lo and behold, 2 days after what happened in the Yawasu West Wogon happened, we prepared, believe, enough the ground for this vigilante thing to be dealt with once and for all in our body policy. We need to be aware that the Parliament of Ghana has passed the Vigilante and Related Offences Act 999 last year. The Peace Council is bringing up 2 documents, and we are very sure the chairman is here. When we are done with the political parties, and we are hopeful that in the next few weeks we are going to see the closure of this dialogue. We intend to bring in up 2 documents to help the law or to supplement the law to ensure that we deal with the vigilante once and for all. It's a roadmap and a code of conduct. We are going to bring this process to a closure quite soon, so that all of us will have the documents and use them as our guide. We are also going to continue our engagement with the media. Last year, like I said, we did 8 regions. This year, we are going to do the remaining 8 regions. We are going to go to every region. We bring together persons who report on conflict issues, especially election-related issues, and we are going to equip them with the skills to report in a manner that will not inflame passions and bring this country to where we don't want to go. We are also going to revive what we did in the last elections, what we call the National Election Early Warning and Response Group, and the Regional Election Early Warning and Response Group across the country. It is a kind of platform that we bring together civil society, government agencies, the security, coordinated by the Peace Council, to serve as early warning mechanism. We are going to deepen the process this year.
Let's take you now to the central region, where a policeman has been shot dead at Mankesim. We understand the Inspector General of Police, James Opombuenu, is heading there immediately. Richard Kojo joins us on the line with more details of this. Richard, what happened?
Well, so the police in Mankesim said they had a distress call that there was an ongoing robbery at one of the filling stations, precisely the Zen filling station. So they moved there, the patrol team moved there. And then when the armed robbers saw them, they engaged in a fierce gun battle with them until the armed robbers retreated and ran away. Later, this dawn, around 4 a.m., there were also some gunshots, and so the police rushed there, only for them to go and see the lifeless body of one of them. So a police constable was found in a pool of blood. The armed robbers had run away. And so, I mean, it really has been a source of worry for many of the residents there, because they feel that the police should do more in the spate of armed robberies that have occurred at the Mankesim area. So they say that they are still investigating the matter. The policeman who is now who has now been killed was in Mosi and was not part of the gun battle that ensued between the robbers and the police. He was not part of the police team that engaged the robbers in the gun battle. And so investigations are underway to know exactly what the policeman was doing there at that particular point in time that got him shot.
Thank you very much, Richard Kojonyako. Let's now hear the PRO for the police in the Central Region.
Divisional patrol team had a distress call that there was a robbery incident going on at Mankesim, a filling station called Zing, also located at Mankesim. Police proceeded to the scene and there was exchange of fire between then the robbers were able to escape. Around the same day, 4 a.m., police had an information that community members within the area have heard another gunshot. They came and unfortunately, one of their own, who wasn't on duty, but then who was in civil dress, had been shot along the streets. Currently, the deceased, Lance Corporal Kingsley, the body has been deposited at the Cape Coast Teaching Block, and we are waiting for examination. And police has also intensified our investigations, and we are looking for the suspects to be arrested.
Let's stay with security, and starting today, 22nd January 2020, Ghanaian security agencies can collaborate more efficiently to protect the country's points of entry. A new border security fusion center has been set up to allow Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Immigration Service and the Bureau of National Investigation and others involved in air, land and maritime security to properly coordinate their border security efforts. JoyNews produced a series of features last year revealing the porous nature of Ghana's borders. The creation of a border fusion center is under the auspices of the Security Governance Initiative, a partnership between the American and Ghanaian governments. Head of Security Desk, Gifty Anwapia, has been speaking with the Defense Minister Dominic Neteo on the impact of this initiative.
A fusion center, as the word suggests, you will know, is to bring together all the various agencies. We have about 8 to 9 agencies under which this fusion center will serve. So BNI, research, defense intelligence, the police, the immigration, customs division of the GRA. They're supposed to all come together in a room to ensure that when something happens in any part of the border, they are able to pick it up, relay it for a quick decision to be made. Because you don't want a situation whereby the BNI picks up something the police are supposed to do immediately, and then it's difficult to relay information. So that gap between getting the information and taking action will be shortened, and they are expected to work 24/7. So basically, it will speed up the response time, and the more you get intelligence and act very fast, the better for you. Because if you were to wait for a terrorist act to happen, then you are failed. You know?
What is in this office that will facilitate this coordination?
It's a start. It's a start. They should be able to communicate around the country by what they have. They have cameras, they have the screens that they can see and monitor, they have all the monitors, they have the gadgets that they are able to see and do whatever is going on. So it's also a good thing, because at the end of the day, it sends positive signals to the people of Ghana that, look, the security is on top of whatever they are doing, and even enhancing their collaboration to make sure that effectively they can wipe out any threat that comes to this country.
So this includes the army, because you mentioned that those in charge of security, maritime and land security, it includes the Ghana Army?
It includes the Army and the Navy as well.
Does it start work immediately?
It starts work immediately.
Like today?
It's been commissioned, so it starts work today.
So you have handpicked specific people from these agencies, you've trained them and you put them together?
The agencies are supposed to be together and work for like 3 years. So if you are picked, you work 3 years, and then there'll be changeover. Another person will be trained for 3 years like that, so that they can work together. But it's a good fusion center. It's a center that Ghana needs.
Now, the United States of America has a key partner in the creation of the Border Security Center. Assistant Secretary of the country's Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement, Kirsten D. Madsen, said the U.S. has so far committed $35 million to Ghana's border security through training and logistics, with another $3 million on the way.
The SGI, the United States has provided more than $35 million to strengthen border, maritime, and cybersecurity, as well as to improve the administration of justice. Of that, about $5.3 million of this has specifically gone towards working on border security. And for example, the United States has provided specialized training to the 23 analysts who will staff the Border Fusion Center and help to outfit the facility. The one thing that we can't do from our side is provide the will and the partnership. We need partners who are willing to take whatever resources we can bring to the table and put them to work. And I think that's what's happening here in Ghana. And it's very powerful. And of course, we've done a lot more together. In the past 2 years at the West Africa Regional Training Center, we've trained more than 700 Ghanaian law enforcement and justice sector officials on a range of topics, including border management, criminal investigations, anti-corruption, drug interdiction, and efforts to counter cybercrime.
Now, still on security, the Minister of Interior, Ambrose Derry, has directed a committee to be set up together with the Peace Council to address the numerous chieftaincy crises in the Savannah region. The newly created region has seen several chieftaincy disputes threatening the peace of the area. The minister, who made the statement as part of his one-day official visit to the region, tasked the regional minister, Adam Salifu Brahima, to liaise with the Ministry of Interior to ensure that this is done immediately.
Very much for your invaluable contribution to the peace in Ghana, for the great role that you played as part of the eminent chiefs who were able to bring peace to Gabon, and recently you were represented at the Jubilee House to present the Ghana on the first official visit to the president. We want to tell you that your contribution will go down in history in gold. Besides, having been granted the privilege by the president to be the minister for the interior and in charge of internal security, I have to thank you very much. I know that image, your stature, your commitment to peace has contributed to relative peace in the Savannah area despite of the challenges. I myself have to make a confession, the king of Gonya, that I started my life in Damo at Agricampo. My father used to be called Patrick, and he and Swinky constructed the dam near St. Anne, which was the school as Artillery. So your kingdom has molded me, and I'm grateful for that. I wish to express, on behalf of the government and myself, condolences to the king of Gonya and to the affected families of those 4 persons who were shot and 2 of them died. I want to tell you that our thoughts are with the families, and we will not rest. We will not rest until we get to the bottom of it. This year, the police have started on a brighter note. And as you yourself acknowledge, they were able to shoot and disable one robber. I have met them with the rest of them, and I can assure you that I'm taking your request seriously. We will empower them to make sure that they do more to make your kingdom even more peaceful and more secure than it is.
The Interior Minister has also been meeting police, fire and immigration services in the region. He commended them for their show of commitment to duty. He was, however, unhappy that some personnel are failing to operate according to standards.
In preventing the system that we met, a system that makes you police have to steal to study for degree, and we call it galamsey. No, we are reorganizing the police, and now we've got links with certain universities like CID with UCC, and very soon we're going to work to have the colleges, police colleges, assisted by the universities, issue diplomas and degrees, and make sure that you in the police, you work as police and be able to improve yourselves to get the qualifications, and there's no need for gallantry. We are very interested in a police service that is dynamic, and therefore you are not going to go to training and come back, stay 10 years without going again. No, you must go and renew your efforts while we are fighting and providing you protective clothing. I'm aware that most of you don't want to wear them. When we send it to you and you wear them, when we say wear them in Border, you don't want to wear it. Damongo, you don't want to wear it. Accra, you don't want to wear it. Please, do wear your protective clothing. And my beautiful lady officers, wear the helmets to protect your head from bullets. Don't worry, after closing you can reorganize your hair. You are beautiful, so there will be no problem. But I'm going to take seriously any people who go out on hazardous operations and don't wear the protective clothing. And when you die, and I'm going to meet the silence and have to answer to my president. So this interaction is more for you. The vehicles will deal with it. Equipment, both lethal and non-lethal, will deal with it. You know, for the first time in the history of Ghana, we've introduced air wing. 3 helicopters are coming. In December, I was in South Africa, and I saw 6 police officers, young men, who are holding WASI certificates. They have no driving license. And I saw them fly the helicopters effectively. And we're looking forward to it. They are going to go back in this January to complete. And we're also introducing the canine unit, the dogs. We have 15 police officers out there who have been trained in various things and combats and all that. And we had 10 men, 5 women out there. I saw them, very impressive. We are going to make sure that the Ghana Police Service becomes the best in Africa and one of the best in the world.
Still live on JoyNews today. Now, the Ghana Health Service has issued a statement on coronavirus. Let me give you some details. You should see it on your screen immediately. It says here the health authorities in Ghana confirmed an outbreak of a novel coronavirus infection on the 7th in China, on the 7th of January 2020 in the Wuhan province in China, following a series of reported cases of pneumonia of unknown cause in December 2019. The outbreak was linked to a local animal market, spread from animals to humans, but had also been found to be spread from one person to the other. It can be spread when an infected person coughs or sneezes on another person. It says this disease is characterized by fever, cough, and difficulties in breathing. Now, it goes on to say the measures that are currently being implemented in Ghana to protect the general public from the disease. The first is an alert message has been sent to all regions in Ghana on the outbreak, in addition to guidance information on the disease. Secondly, it says enhanced surveillance at points of entry, especially the Kotoka International Airport. In addition, there is in-country capacity to diagnose 2019 NCOV through laboratory testing of the appropriate samples by the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research. It ends by advising the general public to adhere to these measures as part of prevention. Expect more on this story in later bulletins. Now, coming up in business, woodworkers are calling for a review of voluntary partnership agreement between Ghana and the EU. They say it would render many of them jobless. Details after this. Stay with us.